Hello everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel, The World Times News by AI. So let's start the video. At least 78 people have died and more than 100 have been rescued after their fishing boat sank off southern Greece. But survivors have suggested as many as 750 people may have been packed onto the boat, with reports of 100 children in the hold. Greece says it is one of its biggest ever migrant tragedies, and has declared 3 days of mourning. Authorities say their offers of aid were refused, but they are facing claims of not doing enough to help. The boat went down about 80 kilometers, 50 miles, southwest of Pylos after 2:04 on Wednesday morning local time, according to the Greek Coast Guard, which lowered an earlier confirmed death toll of 79 to 78. The EU's border agency Frontex said it had spotted the boat early on Tuesday afternoon and immediately told Greek and Italian authorities. The Coast Guard said later that no one on board was wearing life jackets. In a timeline provided by the Coast Guard, it said that initial contact was made with the fishing boat at 1400, 11 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, and no request for help had been made. It said the Greek shipping ministry had made repeated contact with the boat and was told repeatedly it simply wanted to sail on to Italy. A Maltese-flagged ship provided food and water at around 1800, and another boat provided water 3 hours after that, it added. Then at around 1:40 on Wednesday someone on the boat is said to have notified the Greek Coast Guard that the vessel's engine had malfunctioned. Shortly afterwards, the boat capsized, taking only 10 to 15 minutes to sink completely. A search and rescue operation was triggered but complicated by strong winds. Alarm phone, an emergency helpline for migrants in trouble at sea, complained that the Coast Guard was aware of the ship being in distress for hours before any help was sent, adding that authorities had been informed by different sources that the boat was in trouble. It added that people may have been scared to encounter Greek authorities because they were aware of the country's horrible and systematic pushback practices. Jérôme Toubiana of Médecins Sans Frontières told French radio that European and Greek authorities should both have intervened earlier. It's really shocking to hear that Frontex flew over the boat and no one intervened because the boat refused all offers of help. An overloaded boat is a boat in distress. The boat is thought to have been going from Libya to Italy, with most of those on board believed to be men in their 20s. They had been traveling for days, according to local media reports, which added that the boat had been approached by a Maltese cargo ship on Tuesday afternoon that supplied food and water. Survivors spoke of as many as 500 to 750 people on board, and Regional Health Director Yannis Karvalis warned of an unprecedented tragedy. The number of the people on board was much higher than the capacity that should be allowed for this boat. One survivor told a hospital doctor in Kalamata that he had seen 100 children in the hold. Coast Guard Captain Nikolaos Alexiou told Public TV that the boat had sunk in one of the deepest parts of the Mediterranean. The nationalities of the victims have not yet been announced. Survivors have been taken to Kalamata, and many were treated in hospital for hypothermia or minor injuries. Public broadcaster ERT said that 3 people suspected of being the traffickers had been taken to the Central Port Authority in Kalamata and were being interrogated. Greek President Katerina Sakalaropoulou visited some of those rescued and expressed her sorrow for those who had drowned. Each year, hundreds of people die trying to cross the Mediterranean. In February, a boat carrying migrants capsized near Cutro, in the region of Calabria in southern Italy, killing at least 94 people, one of the deadliest incidents recorded. Greek Migration Ministry official Georgos Michailidis said Greece had repeatedly called for a solid EU migration policy, in order to accept people who are really in need and not just the people who have the money to pay the smugglers. Right now, the smugglers are the ones who decide who comes to Europe, he told the BBC. The case is for the EU to provide asylum, help and safety for those who are really in need. It's not a problem of Greece, Italy or Cyprus. The EU is the one that must conclude on a solid migration policy. Greece is one of the main routes into the European Union for refugees and migrants from the Middle East, Asia and Africa. Last month the Greek government came under international criticism over video footage reportedly showing the forceful expulsion of migrants who were set adrift at sea. More than 70,000 refugees and migrants have arrived in Europe's frontline countries this year, with the majority landing in Italy, according to UN data. Thanks.